So, what on earth does a legendary king from 3,000 years ago have to do with sixth grade math? I know, it sounds a little strange, but we found this lesson plan that uses the story of King Solomon to teach one of the most intimidating topics for any student, 10-digit arithmetic. And as it turns out, this ancient framing holds a really modern secret to making complex problems feel simple. I mean, that's the obvious question, right? Why bring King Solomon into a math class? Let's unpack that, because the answer reveals a really powerful technique for making just about any complex idea feel simple and, memorable. Okay, so first up, let's look at the setup. The lesson kicks things off by blending two worlds you'd probably never expect to see together. And this, right here, is where the magic really begins. Get this. This is the opening line. It doesn't start with numbers or rules. It starts with imagination. And just like that, the student isn't just solving a math problem anymore. They're stepping into a story. What was a tedious chore is now a compelling quest. And here's why that matters so much. The number 34 million is, well, it's just an abstract idea. But 34 million gold coins in a king's treasury, you can almost feel the weight of that, can't you? Suddenly the number feels real. That's the core strategy here, making the abstract tangible. All right, so the story is set. Now let's see how the lesson weaves in the actual math. With this framing, we're not just doing addition anymore. No, we're counting the king's coins. So here's the problem straight from the lesson. The kingdom gets 2 huge deposits of gold. The task is simple: find the new total in the royal treasury. You see how every single number is tied to something we can actually picture. It's brilliant. Now, before they even solve it, the lesson introduces this key idea: the algorithm. It sounds kind of complex, but it's really just a simple, repeatable method, like a recipe. The message is so powerful. You don't need to be a genius to solve this. You just need a reliable system that anyone can follow. And here is that system. It's so simple, it's genius. Just 2 steps. The first, align, organizes the chaos. And the second, add, breaks this huge, impossible-looking problem into tiny, manageable pieces. That's the secret. It turns an intimidating 8-digit addition into a bunch of simple sums you probably learned back in first grade. And boom, there it is. King Solomon now has over 80 million gold coins. That simple 2-step system just conquered a problem that looked terrifying just a minute ago. The story gave us the why, and the algorithm gave us the how. Okay, so the system works for millions. That's cool. But what about billions? The next part of the lesson is all about testing if this simple little algorithm can scale up to the big leagues. So the lesson gives you 5 homework problems, and the numbers start to get truly massive, even pushing past 1 billion. But here's the beautiful part. The method never changes. You align, then you add. It works every single time, no matter how many zeros you throw at it. I want you to just take a look at the answer to that third problem, exactly 1 billion. Can you imagine being a student just methodically adding these digits from right to left and you land on such a massive, perfect number? That's not just getting an answer right, that's a moment of feeling real mathematical power. And that right there is the ultimate point. This isn't just some trick for your homework. This is a system that's powerful enough to manage a kingdom's entire fortune because it just scales infinitely. That is the beauty of a simple, solid algorithm. So, we've totally seen the how. That's the algorithm. But the final and maybe the most brilliant part of this whole lesson is the why. It's not just about teaching math. It's about the incredible power of how you frame an idea. At the very end, the source material includes this Bible verse. Now, regardless of your personal beliefs, its function here in the lesson is really fascinating. It acts like a thematic bookend to the entire exercise. Think about that for a second. We just spent the whole lesson making these huge numbers imaginable, counting them out as gold coins. And then the lesson wraps up by pointing to the concept of the truly immeasurable. It takes you from a tangible billion all the way back to the abstract infinite and leaves you with this sense of wonder. So let's boil this all down. What's the secret sauce here? This lesson proves you can teach almost anything if you combine 4 key elements. Start with a story to hook the imagination. Use tangible examples to make it feel real. Give people a simple, repeatable process to build their confidence. And finally, end with a big idea that inspires a little wonder. It's really a masterclass in communication. And that really just leaves us with this one final thought. This isn't just about math, not at all. This technique, framing a complex problem inside a simple, powerful story, can be applied absolutely anywhere. So the question for you is, what complicated part of your world, your work, or your studies could you suddenly make clear just by finding the right story to tell?